Welcome to the Hyperbeat Podcast. Each episode, we chat with fitness professionals to get the story behind the business they created.
All right, guys, welcome back. Episode 18 of the Hyperbeat Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Tate. Today, we're chatting with Ricky Glaser, Australian Pro-Skater and all-round nice guy. To put some of the conversation into perspective, this was recorded way back in January of 2020. We had a really fun chat with Ricky. We took a deep dive into how he managed to leverage social media into his dream job in the US of A. And we chat through what it's like to have a piece of content go viral. My first question to Ricky, where did the interest in skating come from?
Yeah, so I basically started skating when I was really young. I think I was about 8 years old in like 1999. So I've been skating for like 20 years now, it seems like.
1999 is not that long ago for most people.
Yeah, like, over 2/3 of my life or something.
Yeah, wow.
As a kid, I was just really active and that kind of stuff, and I would do like all sports and just like jump around and just like drink too much red cordial. And then I sort of would just try everything like BMXing and roller skating and like all those sort of things. And then when I found skating, I was like, oh, like this is the one, like this is sick. And then like pretty much ever since then, just everything's always been focused on skating. Like I just fell in love with it and just thought that like it's something that I wanted to like put all my energy into.
So was there anyone in your family that encouraged you to take on skating, or did you have I don't know if you got any siblings, or you got an older brother that does it, or friends, like find it on your own?
So my parents were pretty encouraging to all sports, and they would take me and my brother like surfing and biking and skating and those kind of things. Like they bought us skateboards when we didn't really know what it was.
Okay. Yep.
And then like they sort of saw my like attraction to it or something, and then they were really supportive. But me and my brother would go skating all the time. And just go to like skate parks, and my parents would like sit in the car and we would go skating. Yeah.
So you obviously kept doing it into your teens and then into your early adulthood. When did you figure out that that's something you could pursue as a career and then really go for it?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one because, people's motivation for skating, it's never like, I want to be a famous skater and make money. It's more just like, I love this thing to do and like, I want to do more of it. Mm-hmm. So that was always my approach. And then I guess when I started getting a few more sponsors, I was like, oh, like maybe like, we can take this thing sort of further on. So this was when I'm in kind of like my early 20s. And then, I had a bit of momentum, but then it kind of like fizzled out a bit. And then, you sort of just get into your adulthood, real life career and stuff. And then I was like a little bit focused on that. And then like a few years ago, I was like, you know what, like I'm still young, like I'm not done with skating. And then maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I came back. It was kind of when Instagram like just started its like video. I think it just went from 15 seconds to 1 minute on Instagram. Yep. I was like, this is kind of cool. And I was like, I really want to like dedicate everything back to skating. And then like I kind of shifted my focus from my career like back to skating. And then after that, I just got so much momentum, especially in the last sort of like 18 months. It like really started taking off, and then I got way more sponsors, and then like started actually like getting a bit of money and like getting paid. Yeah, like only kind of recently, I guess.
So what would a typical year for a pro skater actually look like? There's competitions and sponsorship obligations, and so what do you actually get up to?
So there's so many different kinds of ways you can be a pro skater, I guess. So like kind of the definition for a pro skater, it means that like someone can buy a skateboard that has your name on it. So like you can buy a Ricky Glaser.
People can.
You can buy a Ricky Glaser pro skateboard. Yeah, I just released my second graphic with Folklore skateboards.
That's awesome.
So it's really cool. It's really surreal. Like if you see like a kid and his board says your name.
Have you seen people?
Really?
Wow. Yeah. Do you go up and say that's me, or?
Yeah, like they see me or whatever.
Yeah, cool. Signed any boards yet?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, man. That's so
like
cool.
Now it's getting to a point like almost every time I go to the skate park, the kids are like,
wow.
like Ricky's here.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So it's definitely like surreal.
And must be a nice feeling too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And like I really connect with what it's like to be a kid and like be hyped on skating. So like I really like have a lot of time for that, So skaters can do a lot of different sort of things. Like there can be skaters that just do competitions and like that's their sort of focus. But then my skating, it's a bit more, I guess we would just call it like a street skater. Whereas like my sort of purpose is more to like film videos in the streets and take photos for magazines and just do things like that. We call it like a video part, is when you sort of have like a 3 or 4 minute song and then put all your tricks together in like a sequence. So it's more to do those kind of things as well as like promoting all social media stuff, and just so like in general you'll film this video part, like a 4-minute compilation of these things, and then at the same time, you know, you're doing those social medias, you're doing all the other things, and then doing like, you know, like demos and appearances and stuff like that as well. And you kind of just have to balance everything at once. The typical year, it's just like go skating as much as you can. You know, maybe your sponsors will put you on like a trip or send you to a comp or those kind of things. But yeah, just basically skate a lot.
So is there a fair amount of travel involved in it as well? Like, are you going overseas or interstate?
Yeah,
to go to
for
stuff?
sure.
Yeah.
Like I've been going overseas a little bit, not a whole lot. Some other pro skaters though, they're like constantly doing that. I recently went to America though.
Yeah.
That was sort of me taking on my own initiative rather than my sponsors sending me out to do that though.
Okay. Cool. Yep.
It was more like I wanted to meet up with these people that I actually became friends with through social media.
Yep.
So there's a lot of like skaters that I sort of really looked up to, and then we kind of became friends just through being skaters on Instagram.
Yep.
And then they're like, one of my friends, I would say his name, John Rob Moore. He's like such a good skater from Arizona.
Cool.
And he's just like, yo, like come to Arizona, like it'll be sick. We should skate together, whatever. And I was like, yeah, like I'm down. Like let's do it.
Yeah, why not? I suppose something like that in itself is a good way to capture more content for your social media pages anyway.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
so-
I mean, and like I've known about this guy for a long time before
Yeah.
we were friends. And like I'd love to go skating
Yeah,
with
yeah.
you and your crew in Arizona. Like that sounds like a dream come true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my catalyst for the trip a couple of months ago. And then, you know, I did all these other sort of things in California, because California is really kind of like the center of skateboarding in the world.
Okay.
So like Australia, like the skateboarding scene is really good, especially in Melbourne, but like it's kind of just like a small industry compared to like America and California. And then you go to California and like, damn, like this is like the center of everything. So it was cool. Like when I was there, I got to do a bunch of other stuff. Like I went to the Barracks, which is like a really famous skate park that all the pros sort of go to, and it's kind of like invite only sort of thing. I went there and like filmed some videos with them, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Then I went to this other one, Braille Skateboarding, which is like another thing. It's like a YouTube skate channel where they do all these videos and stuff, and like they're really popular.
Set up specifically to capture content for YouTube.
Yeah,
Right?
and that's actually where I got the job.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah, so
okay.
they're in San Francisco. So like it was so sick. And then, you know, I went to this other really famous distribution of like historic skate stuff, and it's like it's a really cool trip.
If you follow Ricky on social media, you do a lot of, I want to call them trick shots, but it's probably not the right term for it. There's a lot of cool stuff that you do. Are you constantly thinking up different things to go out and try and create? Like, how are you actually coming up with some of the stuff that you're doing? Because there's one where you're skipping rope with the skateboard, which blew up on social media.
Yep.
Yeah, there's ones where you're coming out of the back of vans, you're grinding across, you know, all kinds of weird pipes and stuff. So are you looking up to other people and seeing what they're doing, or are you just like lying in bed at night going, what crazy stuff can I do tomorrow?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
In skating, is like what people are drawn to skating is like the sort of progression. It's like there's always new things that they can try. So when you're just starting, you know, you can do a jump or you can do a kickflip, and there's like all these things to do. But now, like I said, I've been skating for so long, for 20 years, you know, you don't run out, but then you sort of like, you've done so many different tricks. You're like, what else could I do that would be kind of fun? Yeah. So like, you know, why not skip and do a kickflip while I'm skipping? Like, you know, that's a fun challenge. Like,
And how many outtakes of that are there though? Because there's obviously the one where you pull it off and it looks amazing, but surely you didn't get it the first time around. Yeah.
Nah, it took me maybe like 50 tries or something.
Yeah, right.
But in skating in general, like whenever you see someone land a trick, there's like a lot of tries.
Okay.
Especially, I'm more of a technical skater. So like sometimes I will try a trick for like hours and hours and maybe not even land it. And then the next day try again hours and hours and then not even land it and then just But in general, like, you know, if you're doing a really hard trick, it takes a lot.
Yeah, so you must have thousands of hours of footage that...
Well, big time. And like some of my friends or whatever, they've probably spent like days of just filming me, like total time. Weeks maybe.
If we talk specifically about your Instagram page, you're saying before, so you had about, 7,000 followers?
Yeah.
And then it bumped up a little bit to around the 10 mark, and then there was a few trick videos that really took you up to...
Yeah. I can give you the
50,000
further backstory if you want.
Okay.
I had so when I started again, I think I had maybe like 2,000, 3,000, something like that.
Yep.
Then I started doing
even that on its own, like to start with 3,000.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big number for most people.
Yeah. Just, you know, just not taking it seriously, just doing lighthearted skating. Then I was like, this is actually turning into kind of a thing. And I was like, I'm going to take this a bit more seriously.
Yeah.
Then I was doing more like specifically for Instagram sort of skating, and then it was going well. Then when I was at like 3,500, I did this one trick that like no one had done before in skating, and it was kind of a unique obstacle, and then it was a cool trick, and like it had a really big impact on skaters.
So can you talk about what the trick was? So
it's a little bit hard to explain.
It, yeah.
So I grind on this rail, and then the rail kind of bends upwards at the end. So I'm grinding on this rail in skating. It's called a crooked grind. And then I shoot out of the bend. So I go up in the air, and then I do another trick. It's called impossible. So it's like basically I grind on the rail on the tip of the board. I grind on the rail, then I shoot off the end, and then I spin the board around my foot and then land back on the board and roll away. It's kind of unique just in skating because the way that it has to have a rail that shoots upwards, and then it's a difficult trick to do out of shooting upwards as well. So no one had ever done that before, and then skaters see that on Instagram and they're like, whoa, what is this? Yeah, and then like all the big skate media things post it, like, you know, I have 3,500, and then like 4 million Thrasher magazine posts it, Transworld posts it, and then like everyone's just posting it. They all have like 1 million followers or whatever. And then even another one, like there's this Australian guy, he's like basically top in the world skater. His name's Shane O'Neill. Then like he, you know, I know him a little bit, but we're not like friends or anything. He like posted on his personal one with like 1 million, and he's like, this is sick. And I was like, yo. And then like overnight it went from 3,500 to like 7,000 or 7,500, something like that. Like literally just in like, you know, 12 hours or whatever. I was like, that's crazy. And then after that, it gave me a lot of confidence. I was like, this is sick. Like I can just keep doing this, you know, and like keep doing cool tricks, and we can keep growing and like see what happens. And then sort of it was after that bump, it was sort of like a bit of a slow grind between 7,500 to 10,000. Like I was just doing cool stuff, sometimes getting reposts from maybe like, you know, 800,000 skate accounts and stuff. Yeah. And then when I got to 10,000, I made this like recap video of like 6 months of what I had been doing on Instagram. And just when I put it all together, like it had the skipping, it had some of the other cool tricks. When I put it all together, it was like, boom, it just like blew up so hard. Everyone posted again. And then like I jumped from, I think even in one day, it went from like 10 to 15. And then in 1 month, it went from like 10 to 20. And then just since then, it's just been like super steady, like going up. And now we're at like over 50 or whatever.
Yeah, I think I just checked before, it was 51,500.
Yeah, something like that.
A lot of people, man.
Yeah.
And so just getting back to that that clip where you're skipping through the skateboard, that got a bit of coverage. Was it in the news in the US or some kind of
it was like one of those shows. It's like one of those shows where they like review viral clips or whatever. Yeah.
So you got your face on that. So what's it actually like watching, you know, people talk about some kind of clip or a photo going viral, but what's it like to be on the other end, seeing your phone blow up
weird.
like that? Yeah. Is your DM just getting smashed? Or
all the time. It's weird. And like that one was cool. It's kind of like a national TV show or whatever.
Yeah, wow.
And like I was stoked on that. Then there's another one in skateboarding. It's kind of like the skate news. And it's like, again, it's from Thrasher magazine, like one of the biggest outlets. Yeah, this was only like maybe a month ago. And then on that like skate news segment, they had me on there again. It's like, yo, Ricky Glaser, blah, blah, showed one of my tricks. I was like, that's like, it's a really big compliment, you know, because like,
awesome,
yeah, and sick to just have like both of those or whatever. Like, it's really cool.
So did you know that they were going to pick that up and put it on there, or do you just find out like?
No, like I just saw it. Someone sent it to me. I was like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
nice one. So that's obviously given you a bit of clout out there, and people know who you are, and you're getting a bit of recognition for it. You were saying before we did the podcast, you've just been nominated for quite a big award.
Yeah, so just got nominated for Australian Skater of the Year, like literally last night.
Fantastic.
So basically what it is they sort of pick the best skaters in Australia that have been active in the last 12 months, just like what I was saying before, doing videos and photos and all those kind of things. And then they've got 15 there, and then they're going to do it to like a public vote. So by the time this comes out, maybe I win. Yeah, maybe.
Fingers crossed, mate.
Yeah.
So all of this social media stuff you've been doing has led to an opportunity in the US to find a job, really, which is awesome in itself. It's so hard to get from Australia to America and get employment.
Totally.
So you want to chat through who that's with and what that's about?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I mentioned them just before. Braille Skateboarding is the name of the company. and they're this YouTube channel where they're basically dedicated to skateboarding, and they sort of teach skateboarding to beginners a bit, and then they kind of do like fun skateboarding things. So like one of their popular videos is they made a skateboard fully out of glass, and they're like, let's skate on this.
How'd that go?
Yeah, well, it broke,
As
of
you'd
course.
expect,
Yeah. But like they do kind of a lot of cool stuff like that. There's another one, they make a skateboard out of an ice block, and they have these ice shoes and like roll on it and stuff.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of cool stuff like that. But yeah, so when I just through social media, like it's so powerful that you can really connect with like a lot of people, especially when you have a little bit of a following, is that like if you reach out to someone, they kind of like be like, oh, like this person seems cool or whatever. Yeah. And then they'll sort of listen to what you have to say. So yeah, there was an Australian that works for them. I sort of reached out to him a little bit, and then he's like, yeah, come and we'll do some videos together.
Yep.
And I filmed a few videos for their YouTube, and then I went back home to Australia after my trip, and then we were just talking a little bit, and I was like, hey, you ever want to do anything in future? And he's like, yo, come here, work full time, like we'll get you to America, like let's do it. Yeah, so that was like so awesome. And then now, I'm in the process of just packing everything up and moving.
Getting everything ready.
Yeah.
So your day-to-day job over there is creating content for Instagram, is it?
Well,
Or
no, for YouTube,
for YouTube.
But so what it would be is like, I don't need to film or edit or do anything. Like I'm just the skater. So like I do skating stuff, maybe do some skate instruction stuff as well, and then just skate on the glass board.
But
and
you'd
other
sit
stuff.
down with a few guys and come up with some cool ideas. And
for sure.
And execute them.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sounds like a dream job, man.
Totally.
Mate, so if people want to, try and replicate the success you've had through Instagram, have you got any tips or tricks that, people might be able to follow?
Yeah, totally. So like I really have a lot of love for like Instagram and social media because it's just like so powerful. It's like I've been skating for so long, and like, I have gotten a lot better in the last few years, but like I still was a good skater, and just without social media and stuff, I was a cool skater, but I didn't have that sort of reach that like now that I have just by making cool videos, and people see that you're a cool skater, and then now like it can really snowball on itself.
Exactly.
Yeah, like skaters can definitely do it. Like some of the mistakes I see skaters make is that they never really post consistent enough, or they're like a bit embarrassed to like put themselves out there kind of thing. And then some of the other things is like maybe they don't think about how it looks for someone who just finds their account that doesn't know them, and then they go to their account and then they don't really understand what's happening. Like you got to be a bit more inclusive to sort of the random people that find you and be like, this is someone that I want to like know more about,
The amount of content that you make, like you're pretty much doing it full time, right? Like it's days and days of you skating and coming up with tricks and that. So most people probably wouldn't have that amount of time to dedicate to it, but you don't always have to do videos, do you? I mean, photos.
Yeah, for sure.
Could be cool.
I mean, I think videos work the best. In skating, like photos and videos are both popular, but I like videos more. It's a little bit because it's kind of suited to my style of skating. Like I never really jump off a big set of stairs. Like I'm more doing creative stuff. So when you try to take a photo of creative stuff, like it's a bit harder. But whereas you jump off the stairs, the photo looks really nice. Yeah. But photos can definitely work as well. You can try to be a bit efficient with how you record your content and that kind of thing as well. It's like you could go skating one time and do like 3 or 4 cool things, and then post them every second day, and then that's spreads out after a bit of time. But what a lot of people do is they'll film one day, then they'll film like a minute of stuff, put it on Instagram of like 1 minute, and then like 4 weeks later post another minute, and it's
too far apart.
It's hard to get people to watch a minute of stuff. If you just post one trick, they'll watch it, and you post one trick again 2 days later, then they're constantly engaged. Whereas like if you just post 1 minute and then a month later post a minute, like it's not as a good way to sort of go about it.
Are you getting similar kind of traction on Facebook as well, or is it mainly Instagram being the
on
driver?
Facebook, one of my videos kind of blew up, and I think it got like 4 million views or whatever.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and then it had like
4 million.
It had like 10,000 comments. I couldn't even read all the comments.
God. What was it? What was the video?
It was like the compilation one.
Oh,
with
was
the
the
skipping.
compilation one? Yeah, right. So you're
then
going to
I
do
got-
one of those every year, like at the end of every year?
Yeah, I did, because that was like the first 6 months, and I did another one
months,
recently
right.
of the last
Right.
6 months.
Yeah. 4 million.
Yeah, that was crazy.
A staggering number.
Yeah. And then got a bit of traction on Facebook. What I've been recently getting into is TikTok. Like I don't know,
really?
I don't know if you know about that.
I know about TikTok,
But-
I'm confused as all hell about TikTok.
Yeah, like honestly, like it's really powerful is what I see.
We're really struggling to try and find an application for it for Hyperbeat. So
Yeah.
I can see what people are doing, but we don't know how to translate that to our business. But
Totally.
no, you go on.
Yeah. Well, that will be the key is like, you just need to figure out the best way to do it. Because like the main difference I've found between Instagram and TikTok is like Instagram generally, it's like you got to slowly build over time and your video will get seen by your followers and a little bit of extra people. Whereas on TikTok, it's all about their algorithm, and their algorithm is actually really like intelligent, that it kind of knows what's in the video, then it will test the video with people and then see how they respond to it.
Oh, wow.
So like basically if you make a TikTok account, you have 0 followers, you post something that's truly like really amazing, good content. That's like something super unique. It will take it and it will be like, this is kind of cool. Test it with a few viewers. They respond super well to it and it can just keep pushing it and get literally like millions of views just from having no following at all. Yeah.
So the organic reach is better.
Yeah. So like the algorithm's really, really intelligent that the organic reach can just be insane. It's if you post the best thing, it will get the most views, like, which is really powerful. Whereas on Instagram, it's a little bit like that, but not quite as powerful as like how TikTok is doing it. So, and on TikTok, it's cool that like, there's a few big-ish skate accounts, but there's no like crazy monster ones. Like the biggest is only like 200,000 or something. So then like it's still so early and new that I'm like, maybe I can come and get my authority in there. So it's really interesting.
So how are you going on there? Are you getting heaps of views and heaps of traction?
I made this one video and it blew up a bit. It got like 2 million views as well. And then I got like a bunch of followers and stuff. So I have like 25,000 followers on TikTok now.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
When did you open the account?
Like a month ago.
25,000 followers in a month.
Yeah. TikTok's, that's what I mean. It's crazy. Like, you know, I think it will overtake my Instagram in a few months or
quickly,
something.
Definitely, by the way. Yeah.
Because the followers is a little bit different because, again, with organic reach is like people don't watch their following as much. They kind of watch the best of the best videos. So the dynamic of the followers is a little bit different, but it's really interesting for sure.
Is it a younger crowd too?
100%.
Yeah, they are.
There's a lot of spelling mistakes in there. My video that blew up, it was called like why skateboarding isn't a sport, and then I showed some of my tricks and like made a couple of points, whatever. It was like 15 seconds, and then every single comment is like, but it's in the Olympics, blah blah blah, and they like spell everything wrong, and just like I click on some of the profiles, it's like 10-year-old girl or whatever. But yeah, like I wouldn't take that away from TikTok. I think, you know, they're the first users, but it's just going to keep growing. And
mate, it's like Facebook in the early days. People were all young, but now we're all, you know, in our mid-30s, early 40s. Like people grow up. We've experimented with it, but obviously we can't do much dancing and we don't have any cool trick shots, so we're a little bit stuck for ideas.
Yeah.
Well, Ricky, mate, it's been a awesome, fun chat. So thanks very much for coming down to Hyperbeat HQ this afternoon. If people want to check out your awesome social media profile, what are your handles and where can they find you? Yeah,
so I mean, Instagram is my main one. All the handles are Ricky Glaser. So Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube as well. And then the job that I've just got is Braille Skateboarding on YouTube.
Yeah, awesome. Definitely check that out. So you managed to get your own name on everything. You didn't have to do an at 1980.
I seen like now that I'm getting more and more notoriety, I seen the other day on TikTok like a Ricky Glaser like fake account or whatever.
Oh, you got a fake account?
The only person it followed was me as well. I was like,
Hey, you know you're blowing up if you got fake accounts. That's awesome.
Gotta get that blue tick.
All right, mate. Well, thanks again. It's been an awesome chat, and thanks for coming down.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
If you'd like to be involved in an episode of the Hyperbeat Podcast, send an email to info@hyperbeat.com.au or contact us through our social media channels.